Hey, Javier, how are you? Nice to see you.
Hey Jordan, nice to see you too.
Cool. So basically today, I think we wanted to really talk about, um, the bull market. Is the bull market here? Is the bull market not here? It's been really cool so far in 2024, I guess, and maybe 2023 a bit, to see these ETFs and for BTC, now for ETH, and just to see the market like really picking up steam. So the real core question here is like, has the bull market started? Are we in the a bull market? Um, so what do you think? I mean, I have my opinions, but what do you think? It'd be good to hear.
Yeah, I think it's a weird bull market, right? Because we see like Bitcoin in like 70K and the ETFs, but there's not this bull market feeling on Twitter, you know. I
Mm,
miss those laser eyes from a couple of years ago when everyone was
yeah.
so bullish and showing the picture of the Lambos and whatever. So yeah, I think we're in a bull market, but it's quite different. It's taking it, everyone's taking it a little bit more slowly. But
Mm.
yeah, we're definitely.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, so for me, I definitely think we're in a bull market. There are a few reasons why I think we're, basically in a bull market. The like liquidity and stuff. The ETFs, of course, things like that. I mean, a lot of detailed stuff that we probably won't get into, but yeah. So I definitely think we're in a bull market. But the in terms of the what you talk about, the feeling, like for me, I feel like we're maybe just like in the early stages um, of a bull market. Like we're definitely not like late in the bull market. I don't think, at least,
We're not near the end.
not near the end,
That's
right?
a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my opinion. But you think that basically it will be like slower and more like drawn out, or do you think it will still have the big? I mean, the last one was a little weird as well, like too. So,
Yeah, I think we're in a slower and more healthy bull market.
mm.
So yeah, I look forward to it. Yeah.
And do you think we're early in it as well? And do you think we'll be farther out longer, or what do you think?
I think we are in the early bull market. Yeah, people are just retail, like they say, retail is just coming again. I mean, all this ETF flowing, yeah, I think it's amazing. But yeah, we're in the early bull market. We have like a very good chance to hit those 100K, hopefully, and 10K, of course. You're a big ETH fan.
This is 10K ETH is more important, in my opinion.
Yeah.
uh, cool. Cool. So if we both agree that we're in a bull market, one, on summer there are really three core things that we provide people: borrowing, earning, and multiplying. Of course, you can earn in a bull market, but um, I think it's you know maybe like less attractive in a way. Like, do you agree with that? Actually, like from your personal experience as a user, like is it more attractive to you to borrow and multiply in a bull market versus earn, or why or why not? How do you think about that?
Yeah, in a bull market, well, in a bull market, you just have to buy and hold, right? Yeah. But Summer.fi offers you more than that. Summer.fi offers you the ability to borrow on your BTC, your ETH, or your tokens, borrow DAI, and maybe have some more collateral. We'll go over that later. Or even to multiply, to increase your exposure to a certain asset. If you're super bullish on that 10K ETH, why not just 2x your exposure? I think that's a really nice tool that Summerfy gives you, and it's different from just holding. So I guess we both agree we are in a bull market right now. Yeah, early
Yeah.
stage, mid stage, but yeah. But coming back to Summerify and the features on Summerify, borrow and multiply are two of the greatest features for the bull market. What is the context, or what are you looking for to use borrow or multiply on Summerify in a bull market?
Yeah, so I think for the let's say it's a good question. For borrow, I think the best time, like when to borrow, is, of course, it can be personal to you, like the use case, quote unquote, of borrow is like, hey, maybe you need to get liquidity for something very specific. So that's, there are some situations where it's quite personal. But in the context of a bull market, I think the notion of borrowing is really nice when that collateral value has increased, in what you estimate to be quite a bit. So let's say you hold ETH, let's say, or even wrap ETC. Maybe that's a better example with the ETFs and stuff and the flows that have made the price increase. So now you're sitting on this BTC, and like you can do, you can sell it maybe, but do you really want to sell it? Because as we said, we're early in the bull market. Like we probably don't really want to sell at these levels. So the great thing about borrow is allowing you to keep the exposure to the underlying collateral while being able to get liquidity from it. In a lot of cases, people borrow stable coins from the underlying collateral. And so that's the context when the price has really increased in a bull market. So, hey, I can get some liquidity from this asset as the price has gone up a lot. So I can get some cash today, basically. And the question is, like, after that is, well, what do you do with the borrowed asset, or in this case, borrowed stablecoin? And I think that is like probably the second set of things that you really want to understand from this when question, like when should I think about borrowing? And I think that's when, not that, when you have like another opportunity. So, and whether that's in DeFi or whether that's in another asset or something like that, those are really the situations. That's the context when it really is great to borrow. So maybe we can get into specific examples of that. One specific example of like other opportunities in DeFi that you can maybe do is Athena. That's one that I think I've talked people's ear off about in the last couple of months, like around me. So maybe they're annoyed to hear about it, but now they'll have it recorded, so that's cool.
Never heard of it, Tina. So
Exactly. Is basically, so let's say you have wrap BTC, the price of BTC went up, and you're like, you see this Athena thing, and you're like, oh, I wanna get some. I think it's Sats now. Yeah, it's Sats now. I want to get some Sats. So how do you get Sats? You need to have a USDE. You need to lock USDE, among other things. But let's say you just have this wrap BTC on chain. What do? Like, you don't want to sell wrap BTC for USDE. Like, that would be pretty dumb, I think, in my opinion. Not financial advice, of course. But like, you can. The great thing with borrow is in the context of a bull market, you have there are going to be more things like Athena that come up over the course of this bull market. And the thing is, it's like, that's a great situation. You can borrow against your wrap BTC. You can take the borrowed asset. You can lock it in USDE, and you can earn Sats doing that whilst also keeping exposure to your wrap BTC. Now, that's of course not without risks. Like, you're going to have to be able to manage the liquidation price. You're going to have to watch the liquidation price, manage your LTV, all of this different stuff. So it's not without risk. But that's one. And then the other one, as a very specific example, is like, I personally, don't adhere to this, but it's something that I've seen other people doing, which is the context. The price has gone up of your wrap ETC, and there are these themes like that happen in all markets, but of crypto markets as well. And we see this theme of like AI coins, for example, or celebrity coins is the latest
new trends.
New trends, exactly.
Yeah.
And maybe you want to capitalize on those trends. And this is another thing that is another context, another situation when you can think about borrowing is, hey, the price of my collateral is up. There's this new trend, as you say. Maybe the celebrity coin is the latest one. I don't know what any of them. I think Mother is one, maybe, or something else. But in any case, you can take this borrowed asset and you can for example, buy the celebrity coin or buy the meme coin or buy the AI coin. So you have exposure to these trends whilst also retaining the exposure to the asset that you have and like and trust and believe in the long term sort of value proposition as well. So, sorry, that was very long winded, but that is basically the situation, the context when when to think about borrowing. The price of the collateral has gone up. You can get some liquidity. You have something to do with it in terms of um, earning assets or earning yield, or in terms of having another asset that you want to buy that you think is going to go up. So yeah, basically, yeah, that's pretty much it
Yeah.
for borrow.
So in your case, you would borrow some stable coins in this case, just to follow another opportunity, to grab another yield opportunity.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
And
The USDE one, the Athena one is like, it's one that I'm doing, for example. And yeah.
yeah, not financial advice, but yeah, you have to be
Right.
risky with that.
Now
And
financial. Yeah.
look for the liquidation price and everything.
Yeah.
So, well, in these cases, you borrow your stable coins and went to another opportunity, another token, another trend, whatever. But what happens if you're like a BTC maxi or an ETH maxi and you just want more ETH or more BTC? In this case, well, we have multiplied on Summer. So
Yeah.
in this new context of the bull market, when you will use multiply instead of borrow.
Yeah. So I think that's another interesting one. Like this one, I think the concept of that you brought up before, which is really good. I thought around where we are in the bull market, I think is a really important one in the context of multiply, because you're increasing exposure to an asset that is, in a lot of cases, highly volatile. So it's it's very important to understand where you are in the bull market in order to do that. So there are a few situations, I think, or like two real main ones, I would say, or maybe three real main ones, which is um, the price of the collateral. Like let's use ETH as an example, is going up, um, and you think it's going to continue to go up for whatever reason. Maybe you think the ETF flows are going to be great, or um, you know. I guess last year it was, more so that, the liquidity was coming back into the market. So you had this assumption that the price was going to continue to go up. And maybe I'll use an example here, which is somebody who I know who was watching the price of ETH. And it was just kind of steadily going up, steadily going up, steadily going up. This was in November, I think, around that time. So the price of ETH was around 1900. So whenever that was, and it was just kind of, steadily like
Yeah, it was like from 2K to 3K, it was like a slow, steady.
exactly. So they were buying with multiply around 2K. And I was a little skeptical, to be honest. Like, I'm not sure if they did it in big size or not, but that is really the first situation. And that's the first question of when is like, it's building. The momentum is building, right? And you think that the momentum is going to continue to build. And you want to increase your exposure to the underlying because you think, or to the assets of the collateral because you think that it's going to continue to increase. And yeah, and that is especially great if you're in the early stages of a bull market. So I think those are the two first things to think about is like, when is the like where are you in the bull market? Early, middle, late. And then the second thing to really consider is like, well, what is the price action doing? And how do I think about the price action in that regard? In that case, that's the first situation. It's kind of building up, building up, building up, and you think it's going to continue to go up. I would say the second one, in terms of the price action, is like the market has just dumped, right? Um, I think this was like 3 or 4 weeks ago or something like that. I mean, the best example of this is the March 2020 dump, where it seemed like everything was just going to die on that day. uh, but
It was finished,
it felt like
Yeah.
it for sure. Um, so yeah, that would be another. So that would be another situation when, although it takes a lot of guts, and you have to have a very clear frame of mind. But I think that is another situation where, hey, the price just dumped. A lesser example of this that's maybe more realistic, quote unquote, was like, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, maybe, where the price of ETH and BTC dumped down to like maybe 58K or so.
So
Um, and that's a perfect example of like, wow, we got a 15% dump. Maybe now is a good time to increase my exposure to this asset, because that type of volatility is not rare, but that type of volatility is like within the bounds of the type of volatility we get to the downside. And we should expect that, maybe over time the price will sort of revert to the mean type of thing. So that's the second situation, I think. And again, very important to think about where you are in the context of the bull market. Because maybe if you get a massive dump at the end of a bull market, or towards the end of a bull market, maybe that's not maybe that's not the one to multiply, basically.
no,
Um,
or at least not the long multiply. You can short it also multiply, but
you
yeah.
can short it, exactly. And so yeah, that's the second situation. I think the third one is really around being like when the price action is pretty aggressively going up. Um, and maybe that's where we kind of are today. Not really. We were there a couple weeks ago with ETH, kind of with BTC. Um, and I think that's another situation where you can think about multiply, but the context there is like, I think it's maybe more of a short term thing, where you say, hey, I want to ride this momentum. Um, and you can use multiply to say, hey, on Tuesday, you can increase your multiple. And on, Friday or Saturday of the next week, or yeah, maybe, yeah, the same week even, you can say, wow, okay, this is continuing to go on. Let me capture my profits or something like that. Maybe it's a nice way to introduce, a different video that we did around automation and like the momentum strategy, where you can use auto buy and trailing stop loss together. Like that is a perfect example of that. By being able to kind of ride that wave, so to speak. So yeah, those are basically all of the different situations that I would think about. Multiply. Maybe the last one is like the opposite of the slow increase, would be the sort of slow decrease, which I'm not sure if that's a great situation for multiply. Maybe it is. I think that one really again depends on the where we are in the bull market. And of course it's really, really, really hard to be able to understand where we are in the bull market. Like, if everybody could do that, like, of
Will be
course.
rich.
Exactly. So um
But
it,
it's not the case. So
so it takes a lot of judgment, um to understand where we are in the bull market, and everybody has to figure out for themselves like what are the different markers, signals, and stuff that allow you to tell that. I've seen a lot the one on Twitter where it's like Coinbase is number one in the App Store. It's like, okay, like back it up, basically. Um,
sell sell signal. Yeah.
sell signal. So I mean, whatever it is for you, I mean, maybe you should be a bit more sophisticated than that, hopefully. But that there are different signals that you can use to try and estimate, like, all right, where are we in the bull market, where are we in the cycle, to try and understand how to best use multiply and borrow. So sorry again, really long-winded, but does that sort of answer in your, like, for you as a user of, I know you use multiply, I think maybe borrow as well, like, does that sort of sufficiently answer like when to think about when to think about using multiply and when to think about using borrow, or what other maybe questions come to mind, if any?
Yes, totally. It's totally clear, and it's a good thing because users might think of multiply like this leveraged position or something that's super risky or super aggressive. But for example, on the first case, when you jump in the trend, you can do it that slowly. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that you have to do like 10x at once, So you can jump into that slow trend from let's say like from 2K to 3K and slowly increase your exposure to it. So you can be conservative and go with that approach, or you can be more aggressive if you want to call it like that, buy the dips, for example, or jump into the momentum. So yeah, any kind of user can use multiply in this case.
Awesome. And in terms of borrow, is it like yeah, I think maybe that one was also clear, or how maybe like to you is it clear like the situations like when to think about using borrow on Summer.
Yeah, no, the situations are super clear, and I definitely agree with you on those situations. I personally use it to also to jump on another trend on another coin, or let's say Ethena right now, to farm not only sats but there's USD yield, for example.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
you got your WTC or ETH or whatever that's rising in price, and you're getting this 30% or 20% yield on your stablecoins, which also allows you to pay the borrow rate you're paying for your stablecoin. So yeah, it's
Yeah,
kind of a carry trade yield loop opportunity over there.
absolutely. Yeah, totally. That's 100%. Um, cool. So yeah, I think that maybe more or less covers it. Like, hopefully, I think we'll have a bunch of like blogs and docs and stuff where you can read more in depth, like how to think about these or how to actually put into practice on some of the things that we've been talking about.
Yes, we'll leave in the description everything that's needed to jump into your multiply or borrow position in this bull market.
Yep. Don't forget to smash that
The subscribe
subscribe
button.
and punch that like button. So yeah, do that.
So yeah. Okay, Sharon, it was amazing, and I guess I'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.